Welcome to TerrificAsheriffic to this episode of Crossing the Streams. Welcome, Ash. Hello.
Hi. Hello.
How
How
are
are
you
you?
doing?
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
uh, or a Pepsi, right? Because we were talking about
Or a
Pepsi
Pepsi.
Pepsi earlier, which is I think both of us prefer that. I'm doing really great, but it's been really awesome kind of getting ready for this episode and uh, hoping to, just have some awesome conversation with you, which I know we will. With everything going on, I mean, you've been streaming for a while now, right? how
Mhm.
how how long have you been on Twitch?
Oh my god. Okay, so I originally started Twitch on, I wanna say it was, February 2019 is when I first started my first stream, and back then, it was more like an experiment, you know? I got on I think the first thing I streamed was playing Octopath Traveler.
Hmm.
And I was so excited because I had one person in my chat the entire time. I was like, "This is great." And then I started a job.
Hmm.
Job kinda took priority, and so I kinda, fell off of streaming for a couple of months, until about, 2020, pandemic rolls around,
Hmm.
and then I, really started getting into it again. 'Cause at my job, we're working, a day on, day off just to limit the amount of people, amount of bodies inside our facility where I was working at, so on my days off, I would spend a lot of extra time on my stream, and so then I started being a little bit more consistent, late 2020, um yeah, around late 2020, and then
Hmm.
2021, going into that, um, we ended up moving, so then I went on, a hiatus for a couple of months until we moved to our new location here.
Hmm.
And then it was around April, May timeframe, last year that I started being a lot more consistent with it. So it's been a while.
It's been a while, so it's been like on and off, close to
Mhm,
3 years.
mhm.
What brought you to Twitch to begin with? What kind of made you decide to stream?
My husband, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I, um, I so, my husband's been an avid viewer of Twitch for years.
Hmm.
I didn't really know what it was until maybe, I wanna say, the first time I saw any type of Twitch stream was, 2016, 2017.
Hmm.
And we would make it a point there was this one creator that we still watch to this day off and on named Ryokar, who does a lot of, Mario gaming, lots of, Super Mario Maker, Mario hacks, and all that kinda stuff, so Friday nights for us were, date nights where we'd, stay inside, order some pizza, watch a little Twitch, and, after a couple of years, my husband was, just we were just sitting down on the couch together, he's like, "I think you'd be good at this." And I was like, "You are off your rocker. I don't know what you were talking about." I was like, "Why would I put myself
Why
on
would
the
I do
internet for
that?
a bunch of strangers to watch? Like, what am I gonna offer to anybody?" But he's like, "No, I think you have a personality for it, and you obviously love video games and art and all kinds of stuff." He's like, "Why don't you do that as, a hobby just for fun?" He's like, "I will help you." Um, and so I was like, "Yeah, whatever." So I put it off for, a year. I just
Hmm.
wasn't doing it. And then at one point in time, I was finally like, "All right, yeah, that Twitch thing you're talking about? I think I wanna try it,
Right.
maybe." So he was gracious enough this is the mic he bought me. He bought me, a Razer camera. We upgraded my computer system from, my little rinky dink laptop that would crash every 5 minutes whenever I first started streaming,
Yeah.
and it just kinda, took off from there. It was all kind of his idea that I should maybe try doing this.
And you haven't looked back, right?
I haven't looked
You
back, believe it or not, yeah.
That's a great story. There's every so often, it's usually like the partner of the streamer who is somewhat the catalyst for getting the creator into streaming. Um, so what was that first stream like? You kind of touched on it briefly, where you said there was one viewer. What
Mhm.
what kind of what did that feel like when getting started?
Really awkward. It
Yeah.
felt really awkward. I mean, I didn't know about overlays. I was using, Streamlabs at the time,
Mm.
and when I had it downloaded, I didn't know what I was doing in it. I literally downloaded it, a day or 2 before I went live and barely messed with it because it was so intimidating, but
Yeah.
I hit the go live button. I just picked, like, a random time of the day to start, and I was just literally sitting there just like, I was like, "Okay, I feel like I should be talking about something. What do I talk about? What do I talk about? It's just
Yeah.
me by myself. Like, what do I do?" You know? So,
Yeah.
I'm just kind of, like, slightly narrating what it was I was doing in the game, and lo and behold, one poor soul came into my chat and followed me, which was so sweet, and we
Yeah.
chatted for a little bit, and I don't think I've heard from this person since, but I appreciate you, sir, for being my first follow, whoever you are. You might still be following me, I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know, it was just like I just kinda, like, dove right in, because I was like, I really don't know, like, what to expect or what's, like, the proper protocol for getting started. I didn't really watch any YouTube videos about getting started. I didn't really
Right.
take anybody's advice. I didn't know anybody who was streaming at the time personally.
Mhm.
So I just kinda threw myself in there and saw what happened, and then it just slowly snowballed into what it is today.
With Octopath Traveler, was that, something that you found was easy to stream when you were kind of figuring it all out?
I mean, I guess, I didn't really stick with it. I
Yeah.
played it for, like, a day or 2, and I was like, "I'm kinda bored with this." So, I did not stick with it, but, I mean, I just it's kind of funny because, whenever I'm playing video games today even, I'll kinda narrate my thoughts on, like, what's happening in the game and everything just to kinda cut any type of dead air that might be on.
Right.
Um, and I found myself slowly starting to do that during my first couple of streams too.
Mhm.
If it was, like, really quiet or, like, nobody was in chat, I'd just be like, "Alright, well, I don't know what to do with this person. Let's talk about, like, what they're wearing or, like, what they're saying. Like, what's this character all about? What do I think she's into? What's her favorite cocktail?" I don't know.
Right.
Just, like, thinking of anything that would pop in my head about, like, the character itself. And, I it might sound kind of funny, but, like, I talk to myself in real life to begin with. Like, if I'm
Mhm.
just folding laundry, I'm just like, "Oh, yeah, you know what? I need to go put this away here," and I'm just, like, kinda talking to myself, and I feel like in a way that kinda helps with Twitch streaming a little bit because you do need to narrate. You need to
Right.
talk, you need to engage your audience. If me talking about what I am doing in my game, not like the most engaging content per se, but it's at least filling a little bit of dead air and people can get a sense of, like, my personality and
Mhm.
what I'm like.
Mhm.
So, I don't know. Just kinda interesting.
I agree with you that being able to, step through your thoughts or just narrate your thoughts about what's going on with the game,
Mhm.
definitely, uh, a bonus. If you tend to talk to yourself, already outside of, Twitch or streaming, then you're in a good place to actually stream, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
For those that aren't really familiar with your channel and your community, do you have kind of a quick description or elevator pitch of what your channel's all about?
Um, sure. What would I say my channel's about, guys? I just try to keep it, laid back. I don't really cater to kids, so I have it specifically for 18 plus just because I have a hard time filtering what comes out of my mouth at times, but I do try to keep it pretty laid back. Most it's like variety streaming, so, if it's most of the time my wheelhouse is more, with video games. Lately, it's been more cozy games, which I've been, like, loving. I've been playing a lot of Stardew Valley, Tunic, Legend of Zelda, stuff like that, but, I also do brick building, which is how I got to meet you, and
Mhm.
most of my follows and chatters right now
Yeah.
are, kind of, like, crossed over from the brick building community. I'm gonna be doing another baking stream, this Friday because we hit 500 follows. So there's baking every now and then, painting, but yeah, just relaxed, chilled, mostly positive experience, I hope, for everybody. I hope everybody enjoys it in there.
Well, congratulations on 500 followers. That's really
I
awesome.
know. It's crazy. Craziness.
So we have variety gaming. Is there any kind of so lately it's been cozy games? Is there anything like a genre or set of genres that you ordinarily like to stay within when you uh, do a little gaming, or is it pretty much whatever you feel like?
I mean, whenever I first started, it was, like, whatever I felt like at the time. And so, like, last year whenever I first got started, again with Twitch, I started off with, like, some retro gaming,
Mhm,
which I love because there's quite a number of retro games out there that I've never had the opportunity to play.
mhm.
So, last year on this time, I was playing Banjo-Kazooie for the first time and Banjo-Tooie,
Nice.
along with, like, Conker's Bad Fur Day. I've never played those, and it garnered, like, so many follows during that time. It was crazy,
Yeah.
because there's such love and admiration for those games. Um, but I mean, like, the retro gaming, like, platforming, I'm a huge Mario fan. I mean, obviously, you see, like, my Mario and well, you might see them back here, but I have a Mario and my, Lego Nintendo build back there, so I love, like, platformers like Super Mario Brothers and everything. Um but, every now and then I kinda deviate and, like, I did a Resident Evil playthrough for February, because who needs lovey-dovey stuff when you got blood and Jill Valentine? So I did a little Resident Evil playthrough for that, but I think I kinda wanna stick with, like, the more casual retro type games, but every now and then throw in, like, a curveball, like with the Resident Evils or something like that. But yeah, that's typically my go-to or, like, the more cozy chill games or platformers, like retro platformers.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed a lot of the cozy stuff that you've been into. Actually, I think generally when I've been able to tune in, it's been Stardew. When I was able to
Mhm.
tune in the most, and then actually I caught some of those Resident Evil streams, which were fantastic. In just watching you
Absolutely
deal with.
horrific.
No, those were great. I enjoyed. I love. I've played a lot of Resident Evil, and so any chance I can get to watch some of you friendos play that game
Yeah.
has been great. So variety streaming, a little baking, and then Lego. Tell me about what got you into Lego.
Honestly, it was that Super Nin or not Super Nintendo, but the NES system up there.
Hmm.
I I think we were watching, like, one of our favorite Twitch streamers. He was actually putting together the Nintendo Entertainment System set, and he normally doesn't do Lego on
Hmm.
stream. It's always just playing Mario or something. So, the fact that he was, like, putting together the Nintendo set was super cool, and I was like, "Man, that looks really interesting." I was like, "I think I kinda want one of those."
Yeah.
And so, we were looking around for the NES system for a long time and it was sold out everywhere. And it took a couple of months for me to finally procure one. And once we moved to this area, we went to a Lego store that's around us and they happened to have a couple in stock. So I went ahead and purchased one. And I told myself, like, all right, I'm gonna actually build this on stream. But before I do, I was like, I'm gonna build a little bit offline because
Yeah.
this was actually my very first Lego build ever. I've never touched Lego in my life. I
Wow.
never yeah, I never built as a kid. I think my sister owned a couple of Duplo blocks when she was little, but I mean, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, definitely.
Hers were more like sensory type, bricks to put together as opposed to, like, putting together, like, a whole set, but
Mhm.
it was just something I never felt I was, maybe, like, into as a child, because like, early '90s, late '80s, early '90s, it was very much like, there was, like, sexism in toys, like, girls played with Barbies and Polly Pockets, and boys
Yeah,
played with, like, I don't know, Lego and Nintendo and blah, 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 whatever the case may be.
right.
So, I never really thought to ask my parents for a Lego set.
Mhm.
It's nothing I was, like, ever really into.
Yeah,
Um but ever since seeing that, that Nintendo set, I was like, "I really do wanna try this." So, I
right.
spent, like, a good week or so working on this Nintendo Entertainment System set, and I was like, "Okay, I think I got the feel for this. I think I could do it because I didn't know how complicating it was gonna be, right?
Right.
I've never touched Legos before. So, like, once I felt kinda comfortable with it, I went ahead and had my first Lego stream, which at the time, I didn't even know that there was, like, a whole brick building category,
Yeah.
that you could, like, put in. Um, I just, like, went for it, and lo and behold, I think, like, local might have been the first person to raid me, um, as, like, one of the, like, brick building, community members, and from there, I just started getting more and more of you guys showing up in my streams, which has been really cool, and that's
Yeah,
what kinda started it all, was my little Nintendo set, so,
yeah.
I mean, that set right there means a lot to me, honestly. It's what kicked off this whole thing.
That's a great story. I think that I was in the local brick shop's channel one of the times he rated you, because that's how I ended up in your channel uh months ago. And so
Yeah.
I think that's really awesome. And I know that there's been so many other people in the community that have been a part of your stream and have checked in on what you're doing. So it was the NES that got you somewhat, involved, and then just you haven't really stopped doing it since. You because
We
I mean,
haven't looked back.
you haven't looked back. How do you decide, given that your variety,
Mhm.
how do you split up your schedule to kind of touch on gaming as well as do brick building and baking and all the other things you like to get into?
Oh, man. I mean, like, I don't really have a plan for that necessarily. It's just, I don't always have Lego sets on me. Like, I build what I have, and then I'll go through, like a month or 2 of, like, a Lego dry spell and not have anything
Right.
until I go buy some more,
Yeah.
and every now and then I'll get some people in chat like, "When are you building Lego again?" I'm just like, "I don't know. Whenever." Um, it's just I don't know. It's like I don't wanna say I get bored with gaming. I
Right.
feel like variety is like the spice of life, right? So, I'll do my gaming for a good bit, and if I get to the point where it's like, "Alright, I'm not, like, tired of Stardew Valley, but it's like I need a tiny breather from it."
Mhm.
So, how about, like, next week, I've got another Lego set, let's just do some more Lego here, or I'll do, like, an art like, drawing and painting or something, and then the following week, we'll go back into video gaming or something. I sometimes
Right.
need, like, a little breather from video games. And I don't know if that I mean, that's probably stunting my growth, like, a little bit for not being, like, super consistent with one type of thing, um, but that's not who I am. Like, I need to mix it up a little bit every now and then, so, there's no real, like, rhyme or reason to how often I stream Lego versus video games versus cooking or whatever, it's just kinda like whenever the mood strikes,
Right.
I'll let the viewers know or in Discord or something, be like, "Hey, next week, this is when I'm gonna be building," or whatever, and we just kinda go from there.
I think that's perfectly, I think that's pretty normal, actually. A lot of variety streamers, they kind of decide what feels good for them. I
Mhm.
know, and I think I think it's awesome that you have not just games, but you have, art streams, the baking, and the brick building. There's kind
Mhm.
of a wide, just variation in what you do. Are there any particular things that you're looking at adding to that collection of types
Oh,
of content?
yeah, totally. I've told people that I wanna do embroidery because embroidery is, like, another hobby that I've picked up, during the pandemic. Thanks, pandemic, for at least one thing, I guess. You gave me
Yeah.
new hobbies.
Yeah.
Um, but embroidery streams would be kinda cool to do.
Mhm.
Um, and also it's kinda funny, I was in Medusa's chat, earlier this week, and she was working on something called, like, a paper theater, and
Oh.
it's just, like, this little, like, paper set that you put together, it's, like, multi-layered, but it makes it look like a 3D box set of, like, a particular scene from, like, an anime, like, she was working on for, like, My Neighbor Totoro,
Oh,
and they
that's
have
cool.
ones for, like, Sailor Moon yeah, it's just, like, really cool paper crafts, I'm like, "I wanna do that too." So now I'm like, "Now I gotta look into, like, these paper crafts and see about putting all that together." So, there's, like, a couple more ideas for sure that I'd like to do.
I
And then
really
eventually, I'd love to do, like, my whole digital art process because 'cause I'm learning how to do digital art on my own, like, I've made a couple of emotes on my own,
yeah,
through, like, Fire Alpaca, which is this free digital art program they can
yeah.
download. So, I made, like, 2 or 3 emotes, of my face. And, I mean, like, once I get, like, some and like, maybe, like, another monitor or something, that we can, like, have chat up and then, the actual Fire Alpaca program up on another screen, maybe you can, like, just talk and, like, watch me go through the process of, like, making another emote or something. I mean, that'd be kinda cool to do as well.
Yeah.
So, I have couple ideas up here churning. We'll just see when it actually happens.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
So you do your own emotes, is that right?
Mhm. Mhm. Yes, I do. And I know that there's, like, so many talented artists out there.
Mhm.
Um, but I've always enjoyed art, and I've always loved drawing and cartooning and everything.
Yeah.
So, I found it to be kind of like a cool challenge to kinda, like, take on making my own emotes for myself, and at least with, like, fonts and everything, I'm not digitally inclined with that, so I use Canva.
Yeah.
I talk about Canva all the time, but Canva's been such a great program, to utilize for a couple of my emotes that I've used, but, with the facial drawings and everything, I've been going in there and kind of I made a couple of emotes and then got rid of them and then updated the style of them, and I'll probably update it again because 'cause I'm never, like, 100% happy with a particular emote or anything that I do
Right.
necessarily. I'll like it for a little bit, then it's like, I think it's time for an upgrade." So I might go back and, like, redo my face in, like, a different style or something, but it's just, like, this really fun creative challenge that I've wanted to kind of tackle myself and see if I could do it, you know?
Do you ever consider making emotes for others, or have you done that?
I haven't done it yet, but it's been in the back of my mind. Like, if I can ever get to the point where I'm truly comfortable with digital art,
Yeah.
it's something that I might consider, like, maybe doing, like, an Etsy shop and making emotes and badges and all that kinda stuff, but I need to practice a lot more, actually. Not a
Yeah.
little more, but a lot more
Yeah.
in order to get that going. And then figuring out how to do, like, animated emotes too would be really fun
Oh,
because I
yeah.
haven't done that. I mean, there's programs where you can, like, plug in a still image and then it'll kinda, animate it for you, but
Mhm.
having something, like, fully animated, like, arms moving, all that kinda stuff, I don't know how to do that, so I need to teach myself how to do that,
Yeah.
but it is something in the back of my mind because 'cause I've always loved the whole creative process, and at least with my channel anyway, I wanted to be in, like, full creative control of it. I have,
Yeah.
like, a particular vision of what I want everything to look like, and it's not that I don't trust artists out there, it's just, like, I wanted the challenge for myself to see if I could do it,
Yeah.
and it's been really fun so far,
Yeah. You wanted to own
and
it.
a big learning process too.
Yeah.
It's good skills, like, why not? Extra skills.
Yeah. Definitely as streamers and content creators, we find ourselves doing a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Whether it's, the
Oh my
art,
gosh, yeah.
right? Whether it's the graphic design of the overlays, our own, we do our own tech support, of course.
Social media
Social
management.
media, yeah. So going down the list, it just
Ooh.
seems to be one of those. Uh, you're kind of a jack of all trades in terms of like trying to get everything uh squared away. I mean, we're entertainers, we're also community managers in a way. There's just
Mhm.
so many different things that we do. Um in terms of the design, the visual aesthetic of your overlays and your channel and everything that goes in it, since we're talking about you having done a lot of that yourself. For
Yeah.
those that haven't seen kind of what your channel looks like, I'm not really sure how to describe it. It's got this very classic look to it, but how would you describe it?
Um, I guess, like, I tried to go for, like, a mid-century aesthetic.
Hmm.
I love mid-century architecture, clothing. This is vintage, by the way. A little wrinkly, but, I love vintage furniture and clothing design, mid-century style animation.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed the look, even ever since I was a little kid, and I think it had something to do with, growing up, my mom was always watching, like, classic movies and everything all the time.
Right.
She'd have it on, like, the classic TV channel, like Turner Classic Movies or something, and so I'd be watching these films with her, I'm like, "Oh, like, those dresses are really pretty," or like, "Oh, that house is designed really cool." Like, you don't see that ever, or like, "Ooh, that hair is really cool." And so, I never quite knew how to put that together in real life until, you know, a couple of years ago, like, thanks to YouTube, there's, like, all these awesome tutorials on, like, hair design and, like, where to shop and this and that. how to do
Right.
your makeup retro. So I like kind of implementing it in my own personal style and in my furniture. And so I was like, well, why not replicate that in my Twitch stream as well? You know,
Mhm.
it's like an aesthetic I really love. I haven't really seen any streamers with like that type of look for their overlays or anything. I was like, why don't I do that and make it just look a little bit different from everything else that I'm seeing out there? And I mean, that's been kind of fun too. Another little challenge there, trying to make it look in that particular style.
Yeah.
But it's been really cool.
I like that classic almost, someone in chat is Dragon Goddess said classy, kind of like a classy retro. Um
Yeah.
yeah, it's and I find that uh like you mentioned, it's just not I don't think I've ever seen that anywhere, come to think of it. Uh
Yeah.
it I remember when sitting in your channel just seeing like your graphics and noticing that that's a really really cool aesthetic. No one's really doing that. It's
Mhm.
and I think you do it well in terms of it's very consistent throughout all of your graphics and overlays, but I believe that that is kind of underutilized, and you do a really great job with it. So uh,
Oh, thank you.
I wanted to compliment you on that because one of the things that I think a lot of us struggle with as creators and streamers is that like what's my visual, theme? What's my aesthetic? How does it, you know, uh for the lack of a better word, what's my brand? How does it communicate out there? And I think yours
Mhm.
of a lot of the people that I've spoken to on this show is one of the stronger ones. So uh keep it up and keep doing your thing because your overlay skills are pretty good. So
I'm still a learner, man. Lots of trial and error. I have scrapped so many ideas and had stuff up there, and then, like, a month later, I'm like, "You know what? Not feeling it anymore." Go back
yeah,
to the drawing board and try it again.
yeah,
But that's the beauty of it all, it's all a learning process, it's all trial and error,
yeah,
and eventually you'll find what, like, works best for you.
yeah,
And so I guess that's, like, my advice to anybody, like, you can I'm not even, like, scrapped for cash, like, I could have paid somebody to do it, but again, it's just something that I wanted to tackle myself and try, and, for anybody out there who've, like, maybe you can't necessarily afford somebody to create your own overlays or anything, there are websites and tools out there for you to use and, like, just kind of experiment with it if that's something you're into. You can definitely experiment and try to make your own overlays and emotes and all that kind of fun stuff. If you have the time and energy to do so, it is a lot of work depending on like how much effort you do put into it.
right.
But yeah, it's been fun. I just really wanted my stuff to kind of stand out from again like a lot of stuff that I see on Twitch. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that you Amor approves.
I
Good stuff.
approve. My stamp of approval.
Stamp of approval.
It sounds like you pretty much knew what you wanted to do visually. Did you have any other ideas in terms of what it could have looked like, or was this pretty much the way you wanted to go?
I had no idea what it was gonna look like at first.
Hmm.
I did purchase an overlay from this really talented, creator over on Etsy,
Mm,
and she made me one that's like a whole floral design. Um, Lots of floral patterns, pinks and yellows and greens. It was really pretty, but,
hmm.
the more I was, like, looking at it, I'm like, "I don't know." Like, I don't know if it's, like, me per se. Like, I
Right.
like it, but I don't know if this is, like, what I'm going for, you know?
Hmm.
Um and so, like, after thinking about it for a minute, I was like, "You know what?" Like, I don't know, like, I think I wanna, like, branch off and maybe try to do something on my own. Because again, like, everything that I was seeing on Etsy websites or, like, own.tv, because I think that Owned has, like, a bunch of free overlays and
Yeah.
stuff you can download as well, which is cool. I've downloaded, like, stinger transitions and stuff from them, but I was like,
Yeah.
"I don't know if anything really fits with, like, my style." So I was like, "I'm gonna try to do something on my own here." And
Yeah.
that's what kinda kicked it off.
That's it's always difficult. I've gotten a number of assets off of those websites in the past.
Mm.
owned Nerd or Die, Visuals by
Oh, yeah.
Impulse. There's all these different marketplaces online now that just have alerts, overlays, even emotes, and
So much stuff.
so much stuff. I think anyone trying to kind of learn what they want to do, that's not a bad place to start. What would you tell someone who kind of has decided, okay, now this is what I want my visual aesthetic to be? Where do they go from there?
Oh, wow. Um, gosh, I don't know, like, the whole creative process just always, like, changes so often, but I would say, like, again, if you're not gonna do it yourself, I mean, like, check on Etsy. There's so many creators out there. Somebody in chat just mentioned, Fiverr. Fervor? I forget how to pronounce
Yeah,
it, but
Fiverr.
there's Fiverr, yeah, there's a lot of people who will, take the time to kinda, like, design and work with you
Hmm.
on how you want your, overlays, your scene transitions, all kinds of stuff to look.
Yeah,
But if you're wanting to go the route like I did, canva.com, um, that's completely free. There's a few other features you can get with like a pro membership, but you don't need that
yeah,
necessarily. But just kind of experiment, play around with stuff. You're not gonna get it perfect the first time. Like,
right.
I'm still working out kinks and how my overlays and everything else looks right now, and I've been doing this consistently for a year.
Yeah,
I don't think you're ever gonna be, like, 100% happy, but it's just kind of playing around and seeing what works, seeing what
right.
doesn't work, go back and watch your VOD, see how it looks. If
Yeah,
there's something you wanna change up, just kinda work on it. It's like little baby steps, take a little bit of a time
right.
because it can be overwhelming at first, the amount of stuff that you wanna implement into your stream,
Yeah,
the overlays, the stream cards, for your be right back scene, your starting soon screen, your ending screen, emotes. There's like a number of things. It's really a lot to take on. It doesn't sound like a lot at first, but like once you actually dive into it, it can be a little overwhelming, especially if you are trying to do it by yourself. So I mean, I
right.
would say definitely, if it is too much, yeah, definitely look up like I said, Etsy, Fiverr, any number of sites. The owned Nerd or Die. Those are
Yeah,
great assets as well. Just kind of like play around and experiment and see what sticks.
yeah. It's definitely a lot when you add it all up.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
overlay, alerts, sound,
Yeah.
yeah, emotes, etc. Like it's
Channel
all
points, everything
channel point
else. Yeah.
redemptions and rewards. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
As someone who's been doing this consistently for about a year now that you've kind of found a rhythm with it, what would you say has been one of the more challenging things as someone who's been generating content throughout this time?
I think that something that I'm still working on is, like sounds awful, but, like, just being more present in people's chats. I mean, like, I lurk all the time,
Right.
but, like, actually sitting down and, like, chatting and conversing with another streamer for more than, like, 20 or 30 minutes or something.
Mm-hmm.
I get so guilty about, like, "Oh, well, I need to go, like, run and do this, and then, I gotta go do that, and then now I'm gonna go work on stuff for my stream," and I have a really bad habit of not spending near enough time in a lot of other creators' chat rooms,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel so guilty about it.
Really?
I'm really trying to make an effort to be in others' chat rooms more often now.
Yeah.
Um, like, here recently this past week, I've been going into, like, Rexy's chats in the morning whenever I'm, like, putting my makeup on and everything and getting ready in the morning, so I'll, like, hang
Yeah.
out with her and chat and everything, but
Yeah.
actually, like, conversing with I mean, there's so many amazing creators out here.
Right.
Everybody's fantastic, and I feel bad for, like, not being able to be in, like, all their chats all the time. Because I mean, in the morning, I'll try to make a little bit of time. After stream, we'll go rate somebody, I'll hang out in there for a little bit, but then I do try to make a lot of time for just, like, away from Twitch and away from the
Yeah.
internet.
Yeah.
And with Mr. Terrific's work hours, I mean, I see him maybe, like, 2 hours out of the day every day,
Yeah.
so I spend, some time with him, and on the weekends, it's, like, all about us spending time together, so trying to carve out more time for hanging out with others in the community is like my big thing I need to work on more, for sure.
That's understandable. I think that often we get so focused on. Uh, I mean, I like to use this in context of Discord, right? I'm a member of like 30 to 40 different Discord servers.
Oh my god, is that
like
not
l-
overwhelming?
right, like many here probably are there listening or in chat, but I only really pay attention to maybe 5 or 6 of them on the regular. And not it's not unlike streaming or content creation. I mean, it's
Mhm,
applicable to being in those other chats. It's so difficult with hanging out, like, and you said it yourself, there's so many people to watch, right?
mhm.
Whether it's just the brick building community that has grown so large to the point where it's hard to keep up with a lot of like all of them, and then not to mention probably gaming streamers or other chatting streamers that you follow.
Yeah.
It's just difficult. um
Time zones don't help either.
Time zones don't help either. It's true.
Those
It's true.
cursed time zones, darn it. Yeah.
I think that with all of that, it's not easy. I have been really good about lurking in streams, but there are days where I may not even get on Twitch until the evening or late afternoon and maybe
Mhm.
for an hour. And so it's been completely difficult for me to. Um, is there
I
anything
mean,
you,
sometimes I was gonna say, like, sometimes I'll be lurking, I don't even say hello to anybody. I'm just in there. I'm like, "God, I
yeah,
can't even make the effort to say hello." Like, what's wrong with
yeah,
me sometimes?
yeah. It's sometimes I do the whole, like I go in, I lurk for a bit, and if I find some time, because sometimes when I'm working, I'll just do the like a wave emote, like hi, I'm here,
Yes,
and then
the
I kind of,
Amor wave.
yeah, and then I resume working and lurking, but it's definitely tough as someone who I tried I as someone who tries to be involved. It's I completely sympathize with you. uh is there any kind of method that you're trying to apply to kind of get better at it, or is there just kind of like I'm gonna make an honest effort when I can?
Um, I think, well, I don't really know yet.
Yeah.
Just, like, anytime I'm, like, in this room
Mm-hmm.
or, like, before bed, if I'm,
Mm-hmm.
like, hanging out in the living room and Mr. Terrific's already asleep or something, I'll at least, like, get on my phone on mobile
Yeah.
and at least have it plugged in charging. I'll have, like, TV going in the background, but I'll try to be a little bit more active in people's chats. Like, I'm trying to be
Yeah.
more cognizant of it, and as for being more consistent with it,
Yeah.
not yet, but I'm getting there. I am trying to make more of an effort of it, for sure, especially this past week I have been, anyway. And also trying to discover new people, even outside of brick
Yeah.
building and other interests that I have too, like embroidery and painting and all kinds of stuff, trying to find, other chatters and other streamers that, I can kinda click with. So, there's so many out there. It's a little
Yeah,
overwhelming.
it's tough. Actually, you you said something that made me go, "Oh yeah, I find that hard too," is finding new streamers now. Because I've
Mhm,
been so plugged into brick building. I have some, Twitch friends that I've had before that are variety streamers, others that are just chatters, and it's getting increasingly hard to like catch up, not just with them, but then go out and find new streamers who are just getting into it. Like
mhm.
I commend people like Fred, who I think often finds new streamers in the category or the tag, and he keeps finding new ones from what I've noticed. It's just hard to keep up with.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
One thing I've noticed about a lot of your content creation is that you do a lot of short form content as well. So you're on
I do.
TikTok. I notice a lot of your like the algorithm will feed me all of all of your latest TikToks, as well as Instagram. Uh, that is probably one of the coolest things I've seen in terms of a lot of the folks that I follow. What kind of got you going on that? What was the process in getting your TikTok up and going?
I was so hesitant to do TikTok because I was like, "Isn't that cringy platform? Like, all the tweens are on there, like, dancing." I'm like, "I don't know if I wanna go on there and do that."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "I'm gonna go twerk for views," you know?
I mean, I would if I could, but
You
I
you
don't.
should.
I don't know.
I
I
think you
don't.
should.
Wait, I have to work on the twerking skills first. But
Mhm. I believe in you, though. I think
thank
you can do
you.
it.
So you were kind of reluctant at first,
I was, yeah, yeah. I've always been an Instagram baby, and so, I ended up making, like, a separate Instagram account, from my private one,
right?
and I think I posted, like, 2 things on my Instagram and just kinda, like, gave up on it after a while.
Yeah.
Um, and I think what got me into TikTok was I was watching, I think, Stream Scheme on YouTube,
Hmm.
which is, like, a great resource if you wanna try to, like, grow your channel. There's some, like, pretty good advice on that channel, and, they're talking about, especially for me anyway, who does a lot of gaming content, like, natural growth on Twitch is, like, pretty slow going if you're gonna be doing gaming specifically.
Yeah.
Um, and so, it's kinda good to try to, like, branch out on other platforms to try to garner, like, new people to come in, try to discover you and everything since discoverability is so low. So I was like, "Okay, let me give this an honest try, see if I can figure it out."
Hmm.
And TikTok was so, like, I don't know, so scary at first. I'm like, "What am I doing on here?"
Right.
But after playing with it for a little bit, as apprehensive as I was towards it, I do have fun making my TikToks.
Yeah.
So, I try to keep them especially garnered toward just Twitch. I'll post Twitch clips on there or I'll do these really silly little skits or whatever on there, like
Yeah.
whatever is trending at the time. But I try to, morph it into my own. Like I don't want to feel like another just cog in the machine, just like, oh, I'm just reciting something, just very
Yeah.
stagnant and still. I try to like really put like my whole body into it and my personality and just try to like reflect what I'm all about and what my channel is all about, I guess, in those and using TikTok and Hover. I got on Hover not too long ago, which is specifically for Twitch creators.
Right.
I've noticed a lot more offline growth, which is cool. And I've had a couple more people come in who are like, "Oh yeah, I found you on Hover." Or like, "Oh yeah, I saw you on TikTok and you look kind of cool." So I came over and say hello and gave you a follow. So it's been really a really, really nice way to get some more people into the community and meet them. And then maybe like go check out their channels as well and see what they're all about. So it's been really, really fascinating.
Yeah.
As apprehensive as I was about it.
Yeah. How would you kind of prep someone figuring out how to get going into it?
I found it really difficult at first because, I try to, like, do some social media stuff every day throughout the week,
Hmm.
and I found that to be really overwhelming because 'cause I'm like, "I don't know what I'm gonna do," and I'm tired, and, I had, like, a bunch of errands I had to do earlier, and I gotta stream, and then I gotta, like, cook, and then I'm like, "When am I gonna make time to do this TikTok and all that?" So
Right.
I would say maybe find a day in your week where you have a little bit extra time just to yourself and maybe like knock out a couple of, social media posts and then just have them in your drafts ready to go. And then you can just manually post them like throughout the week, not having to like create a bunch of stuff every day. Cause that could be a little overwhelming. So
Right.
I carve out like one day a week. Usually it's like Monday whenever I'm not streaming and I'll film a bunch of my TikToks or whatever. I'll go online and like make a bunch of Twitch clips
Yeah.
and have those at the ready to just upload on Instagram or Hover or TikTok. Um, because yeah, I mean like doing that every day, it is a lot to take on, especially if you have kids or you're working full time or just whatever, life gets busy. So making time for, like, all these social medias on top of everything else you have going on
Yeah.
Just, like, find a day, like, whenever you can, and you don't have to, like, knock out, like, 3 TikToks a day or whatever, you know, I know a lot of people say to do that, and I was doing that for a while too, and it was just, like, it's overwhelming. There's
Right.
I'm like, "How much content do I have up here right now?" It's like, "I don't know, dude."
Do you tend to do any kind of recycling of content? I know you mentioned that they're clips. I've seen a couple of them in your TikTok. About how much of your posts on TikTok is recycled content from your stream?
Oh, like, right now, it's, like, a really small amount because a
Yeah.
lot of it is just me, like I don't give, like, too much, like, Twitch advice just because I am there's so many
Oh
creators
yeah.
on TikTok and Instagram who, like, who give way better advice than I do. Like, what am I gonna offer at this point? But if
Yeah.
there's, like, something out there that it can, like, help with, I'll talk about, like, "Oh, you know, like, here's, like, a couple of, like, channel point ideas," or, um, most of my stuff, though, was just, like, very meme based, like, whatever is really popular at the time. It sounds cringy just saying that, but like whatever a popular sound clip is that I can like morph and twist it into something pertaining to what I do on Twitch is
Right.
usually my go-to. But yeah, I mean, I do like to, if I'm low on those types of ideas, I'll throw in like a couple of like Twitch clips here and there. I'll edit them down or add some stupid, silly little GIF on top of it or something, whatever. Just to kind of transform it a little bit. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Would you recommend that creators who are trying to get established hop on that TikTok train?
If they have the time and the energy, I would say, yeah, why not go for it? Maybe not do everything at once, like TikTok, Instagram, all that kind of stuff, Twitter, because
Right.
it is a lot. It is a lot to take on.
Yeah.
But if you can find like one thing that you really enjoy, like if Instagram's like more your thing and you enjoy posting on there, like
Yeah.
post some like photos of your setup or like you about to go live or make a reel about like what it is that you're doing or post your clips on there. Just something to kind of like gain a little bit more traction, especially if you are doing like gaming. Like I said, I feel like natural organic growth on Twitch for gaming anyway is really difficult.
Yeah.
Um, I will
Definitely.
say with, like, brick building though, like, you guys have such a strong community, and it is, like, constantly growing. You guys are so supportive of one another,
Yeah.
and you don't necessarily see that in, like, the video gaming side, like, at all, you know? And I really do appreciate all of you, because I mean, like, a lot of my views, even for, like, video gaming, it's all from, like, the brick building community itself. Like, you guys kinda, like, bled over from from brick building over to video games, because I know a lot of you game too, so I'm just really appreciative of that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys had, like, a big impact on my growth as well, even though I don't always do brick building, which is pretty cool.
That is really that's really nice to see because I'm in there, every so often when I'm able to, and I definitely
Yeah.
see a lot of other viewers and streamers from the brick building community who are also there while you're gaming, and so uh,
Yeah.
it's really awesome. I appreciate that support on the off occasion that I will decide to play a game. A lot of people show up from the brick building side as well. So uh,
Yeah.
yeah, they've
You
they've
guys are
been
a bunch of sweeties.
you're all incredible. You're all
You're all so
you're all
nice.
so nice.
It's like, "Oh my god, stop being so nice. Oh my god, I'm not building guide. What are you doing?"
What keeps you motivated to stream?
Um, everybody in my chat.
Yeah,
Honestly, it's like the community. The community
yeah,
keeps me going.
yeah,
Um, it's pretty cool because, I I have a tendency to just, like, trail off of video games or trail off of, like, certain hobbies every now and then if I get kinda bored with it.
yeah,
But streaming on Twitch kinda holds me, like, accountable to some of those things, and, um just having, like, chat there, like, having, like, a mutual interest in whatever it is I'm doing, it kinda helps, like, reinvigorate me to continue on whatever it is that I'm doing,
yeah,
and I wanna keep, coming back and continue connecting with everybody that I've met through Twitch, it's if I could, like, actually meet some of my chatters in real life, I would love to,
yeah,
because I feel like we have, like, such a cool connection, and I've really bonded with a bunch of you all.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just really appreciate y'all, and, like, they're the ones that keep me coming back. If it wasn't for, like, Chad, it's like, what's the point of, like, doing this, I want a cool community to come to, you know?
Definitely.
And that's really what it's about.
Yeah. When's the first Terrific Asherific community meetup then?
Oh, it's at the Taco Bell, down the road.
If there's anywhere it's gonna
1,000
be.
follows, y'all. We're getting a Nachos Bel Grande. What up?
For those that don't know Ash, we were talking about it before the recording a little bit, but we're all about Taco Bell up in here. So
Hell yeah, dude.
I picture a time where we're all at like some TwitchCon or something, and for your meetup, I would hope that you do hold it at like a Taco Bell near TwitchCon.
Oh
That's
my god, I would love that.
I'm giving you that idea because that's
Yeah,
that's what I would love to see. A terrific con, as Jurassic
yeah,
22 in chat has dubbed it. Uh, I'm just saying, terrific con would be pretty amazing.
yeah, and I'd have to dress up in, like, my '50s gear with my stupid little box hats and pearls, and we'll just be, like, down in, like, a big old beefy burrito.
There you
I'm, like,
go.
down for that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'll get my two cheesy gordita crunches and I'll call it good.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Bring back the enchilada Taco Bell. Thank you. That's a message from me to Taco Bell right
The
now. Thank you, Taco
enchilada,
Bell.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure when
Enchilada.
they listen to this podcast, you know.
Yeah, 'cause they were subscribed to me thanks to Zach. He gifted a sub to Taco Bell, even though it's a fake account, but I don't care.
Wait,
It
wait.
feels real.
It's not the real. There's no. Is there
No, they
not a
have, like,
Taco
30
Bell?
follows. It can't be the real Taco Bell. They have, like, 30 or 40 followers or something.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think he gifted one to Taco Bell and then one to, like, Burger King. I was like, "Burger King? You know what? I'll take it, fine." Burger King, please.
With your your motivation being the community and everyone involved with it, do you have any particular uh like memories or top moments that you can look back on that you're just really glad to say that this happened on your channel? Do you have any fond memories that you can relay?
Um, I think I think one of the big ones that pops out to me is, like, right after I hit affiliate or I signed up for affiliate,
Yeah.
I think I was playing, like, one of my Batman games and local raided into me, and that was, like, my first hype train, I believe. I got, like, quite a number of subs all of a sudden. It was very overwhelming. I
Yeah.
literally did not know what to say. I didn't know what the heck a hype train was either at the time. I was like, "What's this? What does
What's
this
going on?
mean?" I was like, "This sounds good. I don't know what this means though."
Right.
But, just the overwhelming amount of support and people coming in and gifting subs and just hanging out with me for a little bit, I was like, "That is insane." And yeah, local says he remembers that. Thank you. I'm glad we remember this memory together. Appreciate it. Um, but yeah, it was really cool. And it's just kind of like snowballed from there, you know?
Yeah.
I'm always amazed whenever I get any type of hype train or even if it's just like one sub, like one like random gifted sub. I'm like, dang, dude.
Yeah.
I usually get speechless. I sometimes get red in the face. I usually don't know what they say because I'm like, I don't know what it is that I'm offering to you all, but I appreciate it. I'm glad that you enjoy the community. I feel like I could always be doing better. I'm very self-critical. I'm very hard on myself sometimes. Even
Yeah.
when I have a good stream, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I could have done this better. Or I often compare myself to other streamers who are a lot bigger than me. I'm like, I don't know. Like, should I be replicating this, or am I not saying the right things? Am I not talking about like specific topics that could garner more chatters? Like, I don't really know. Like,
Right.
I have like my good and bad side, you know. But overall, it's been like a super positive experience, and people just I always have a chatter or two in there, sometimes
Yeah.
more, and willing to hang out, and I don't know, it's a blessing, honestly, to have anybody wanna support you, let alone the amount of support that I've gotten so far. I
Yeah.
really do appreciate it. Even all my lurkers, even if you're not subbed, if you're just lurking, if you just follow, I'm super appreciative of that as well. Like, the fact that you take your time out to hang out with me, like, that's amazing. I don't know.
Shout
I'm
out
getting
to all the
speechless just thinking about
shout
it.
out to all the lurkers and all the people
Yeah,
hanging out.
seriously. Seriously.
What would
I
you
think it's
have
Scotty who always tells me, like, "Yeah, lurkers are like the backbone of Twitch." I'm like,
It's
"Yeah,
true.
that is true. Yeah, for sure."
What would you have if you could the old travel back in time and tell Ash from a year ago anything you could tell her about your Twitch channel and your community, and what would you tell past Ash uh now that you know what you know about streaming in your channel?
That everything's gonna be okay. Um, Take it one step at a time, don't overthink things. Who am I kidding? I still overthink things from time to time. But, no, just kinda, like, go with the flow and try not to think so hard about it and just enjoy the ride, you know?
Yeah,
As simple as that. That's what I still try to do, but, creepy crawly anxieties still come up every now and then
right.
in the back of your mind, but, I mean, of course, like, as soon as you hit the go live button and people start chatting, it's like, "Oh, I'm fine." Yeah, even, like, the most confident looking of streamers, I'm sure they all kinda go through the same thought process too every now and then, like, "Oh, crap, like, I coulda done that so much better," or,
Yeah,
"I'm not doing enough." I always feel like I'm not doing enough still.
yeah,
There's always something to improve, but
yeah. It
yeah.
it also feels like it scales, right? So even if someone's at if they're at 10 viewers concurrently or 100, there's
Mhm,
still often that whole uh did I do well, did I talk enough, was I interesting, etc.
mhm.
It's definitely really tough to fight. Do you have any thoughts on uh you know how you would help someone who faces imposter syndrome or has those thoughts about themselves and their content?
Oh, man. Um, I don't know. I mean, just I've expressed these kind of feelings to chat before, I think, and literally, they'll tell me like, "No, you're doing great. Like, get that nonsense out of your head. Like, you are honestly doing fine. You're doing the best you can right now,
Yeah,
and we appreciate everything that you're doing." And, it literally is just like take it a day at a time. Take a breather if you need to.
yeah,
Like, if you need to take a break from it for a little bit, that's okay. Like, prioritize your mental health, honestly, if it's, like, starting to get to you a little bit. Take a couple of days off, take a week off, but, um, just be you. Just
yeah.
do your thing. Just be your true natural self, and, those that appreciate you, they're gonna follow. They're gonna support you thick and thin.
Is there anything you thought I would ask you for this particular show, or anything that you thought I would kind of uh, try to touch on that I haven't yet really done?
I don't know. To be honest, I
Yeah,
feel like you've kinda covered everything I thought you would. I'm trying to
excellent.
think. It's kind of funny because I made a bunch of notes of, like, stuff I might say if I got lost.
Oh,
If I had no idea what to talk about.
yeah,
But, no, I think you kinda,
we
like,
just checked all
covered
the
it all.
boxes.
Kind of, yeah, honestly. I even wrote down, "Let's talk about me wanting a Taco Bell sponsorship." I wrote that down here. We did it
We
earlier.
did it.
It's like I had to bring Taco Bell up in this conversation somehow, so
I'm glad we got there. I'm very glad we got
yeah.
there.
I always have notes because, like, whenever like I was talking about earlier, how, like, I try to fill dead air. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes you get a little too laser focused on a build that you're doing or, like, a moment in a video game, but I do keep notes handy.
Yeah,
Um, just on like a varying number of topics, like books I'm reading or what I did this weekend, in hopes that like maybe something will like connect with a chatter,
Mhm.
and we might have some type of mutual interest in whatever it is that I did, and then kind of like build a conversation from there.
Yeah.
So I'm always having my little notepad at the ready here. Shout out to my notepad. It's a lifesaver sometimes. It's my little buddy.
I have a question, another one. Who would you,
Okay.
if there's anyone on Twitch that
Mhm.
you could collaborate with, who would you who would you collaborate with?
Ooh. Oh my gosh. Who? That's such a good question. Oh my god. I would love to do let me see. Me and Rexy could do like a Stardew stream together because I know she's been doing a lot of Stardew lately.
There you go.
Um, let me see. For like brick building, like any of you guys, honestly. Like collabing with the Profits would be fun too. Mr. and Mrs. Profit would be really fun, whether it's a game or like brick building or something, or
Hmm.
you. Amor.
Let's
That
do
would
it.
that would be that would be bad if I left Amor out, right?
No,
The
not
host,
at
I
all.
don't bring him up.
Not at
God.
all. If you sincerely want to, we'll chat about it later.
I haven't really done any collabs. I've done one
Yeah.
last month. I did a little charity stream, but they're
Yeah.
both with streamers outside of brick building.
Yeah.
Sunny Star Blast and Sunshine Tay. They're both gamer streamers, and I had so much fun doing that. We did like a Jackbox party game raising money for Ukraine. So it was pretty cool. So that
Yeah.
was like my first like dipping my toes into like collabing with anybody. This is like my second little attempt. I've never talking one on one with someone I haven't really done much of. So,
Yeah.
it's kind of nice.
It is, isn't it?
It
It's
is.
really, it's really, yeah, I started doing these, Ace was the first one, and I knew instantly that I wanted to do more of like direct one-on-one conversation.
Mhm.
It's a lot of fun. It's really just nice to kind of get fellow streamers in just a call where we're just talking about what we do and without necessarily having to do anything else, right? There's no
Mhm.
pressure to build Lego or play a game. It's just
Mhm.
we're hanging out and talking about our channels and streaming.
Just hanging out, being dudes, doing our thing,
Just hanging out, being cool people. I don't know.
hanging out, drinking alcohol. We're doing our thing,
We're
yo.
doing it. Uh,
I'm almost out, by the way.
oh no. Well, we're almost done.
Are we
What's
really?
yeah,
Oh
yeah, we're
my
getting
gosh.
there. I got a few, just a couple more. Like,
Okay.
what what's next for Terrific Asherific and the channel in your community?
I don't know. Well, I mean, again, like I said, we hit our little milestone
Mm-hmm.
of 500 follows. So I will be doing a cooking stream on Friday.
Awesome.
Um, my whole big thing was like, I was like, what am I gonna theme this cooking stream off of? Because I did one before
Mm-hmm.
during the holidays. I did like a cookie stream. So we
Yeah.
baked like 3 or 4 different cookies, and I had a cookie house collapse on me, which is really awesome. Um, so this time I have like a Cooking with Deadpool cookbook along with a Gotham City cocktails cookbook that
Oh,
also has recipes in there. So we're doing like a Marvel DC cooking stream
that's
this
awesome.
Friday, which would be really cool. But I mean, I'd like to do more cooking streams in the future. Like I have this 1960s Julia Childs cookbook that I kind of want to like go through and do some like old-timey recipes, like vintage style recipes. Maybe like some jellied meat or whatever was popular. Something really grotesque and icky, but just try it out for fun. Some like retro recipes. We could do like a retro cooking stream or something.
Right.
Um, and then eventually I'd like to do like maybe like once a month, like a community game night. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Be it like a Jackbox kind of thing or a collab with me and Mr. Terrific playing a game and you guys can like interact with Mr. Terrific because it seems chat is always fascinated by him and curious about him.
Yeah.
He just seems so darn cool to you guys. So, with him and his comic book collecting and everything else, and now he's getting into Lego again.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah, Mr. Terrific may or may not want to start a Twitch channel in the near-ish future.
I would
So we'll
watch
see.
that. I would watch that.
Yeah, yeah.
Might I recommend playing It Takes Two on stream
Oh,
if you haven't done
totally.
that? There you go.
It's gonna happen. Yeah, that's in the works.
Yes, I am excited. Lots of
Yeah.
great things coming up on the channel.
Yes.
In terms of future episodes of Crossing the Streams, now that you've done this whole thing, who would you like to see go through this in a future episode?
I want you to interview yourself.
Really?
Look yourself in a mirror and talk to yourself for 2 hours straight. Or, like, you're sitting here like, "How was your creative process, Amor?" You walk over, put on, like, a little mustache, "Well, my
Yeah.
creative process is this." Okay. No, I mean, if I had a oh gosh, who would I pick? Who would I pick for this? Maybe, like, again, I think, like, Mr. and Mrs. Prophet would be fun. Prophet DNA, such a fun time in there all the time. I love hanging out with him and Mrs. Prophet.
Yeah.
Gosh. Hyena Plus, he's like one of my personal faves on here.
Mhm.
Does brick building, but then also like the D&D streams, which I still don't know diddly about Dungeons and Dragons, but I have so much fun in there anyway. Like you could try to teach me all you want to. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but
Yeah.
I'm here for a good time. And just hanging out with chat and there's been really cool. Um, oh my gosh, Rexy again, like Rexy's really chill just to hang out with. She's such a nice person and I've really liked getting to know her and hanging out in her chats a lot more. So yeah, as far as like brick building, and everything, those are like the ones that come to like the top of my head.
Yeah.
Um, it's Zur. I mean, he's really cool too. I love hanging out in his chat. Um, Agent Prometheus. There's a number. There's quite a
Yeah,
number out there.
there's a list.
A whole list. And if I missed you, I'm sorry. Like I only have so much capacity in here for stuff unless I write it down. So
Those are all great suggestions. And
yeah, I think so.
I think all might already exist on a future episode people I should talk to list.
Oh
But
my god, it's
I
in the
really
prophecy. One of you will be on an
one
episode.
of you at least, maybe
Ooh.
more, maybe more,
Maybe more. Maybe all of them.
maybe all of them.
Maybe. Yeah.
So where can people find you on Twitch and the rest of the internet, Ash?
Oh. Oh, you can find me on twitch.tv/TerrificAsheriffic. You can also find me on Twitter at TAsheriffic, because I guess Terrific Asherific was taken for whatever stupid reason. Um, Instagram and TikTok and Hover at Terrific Asherific. It's all pretty much the same. So,
Awesome.
but yeah, I would love to have you guys come in if you've never been to a channel before. Be fun. Always love hanging out with you all. So,
Well,
Dragon Goddess says interview some moderators.
there we go.
That would be fun too.
Yeah.
Honestly, that'd be kind of cool.
It would definitely be great. And the only reason I pause is because I've kind of outlined something very similar for like as we
Ooh.
grow out, past the Twitch streamers in the brick building community,
Yeah,
is where are other places we can go, and mods was one of the first things I thought of. So that's
that is a really good
validation.
idea. I
Validation.
wouldn't even have thought of that. That's amazing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I'm glad
So
people are asking.
can can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So do you have plans to interview anybody outside of like the brick building community in the future too? Like, do you think you'll deviate towards like others in like the makers and crafting Twitch scene or even like particular gamers or anybody? Or are you kind of keeping it catered toward this one community for the time being, you think? or for the
So,
foreseeable future.
so we are getting to that point where it makes sense to go beyond the brick building community.
Mhm.
Uh, it's it's one of those things that I feel like is not necessarily long term, but certainly, and I said this in the Jake Studs episode, when I hit about 20 episodes, I want to reassess where the show's at. And
Sure.
that includes things like, do we change the format in bigger ways? But that also includes the who else should be on this show, because ultimately we'll get to that point where, not that we'll necessarily run out of people, because I think there will always be people joining the brick building community, but I want to spread out beyond that group, only
Mhm.
only because I think it's just healthy for me, and it's healthy for everyone that listens and watches the show, because then we kind of inject more diverse creators into the mix at that point.
Yeah.
And the hope is, the short answer is, the hope is yes. Is it immediate? We'll see, because we're only 14 episodes in, which is actually a lot, come to think of it. But also, uh,
It's very impressive.
thank you. I'm still figuring out what this is, and so with every
Mhm.
episode, I kind of feel like I learn a little bit more. And at this point, I can say I feel like there is potential to spread this out further, because people do like the format. I know people already do this in other spaces. There's a number of interview shows of Twitch streamers, so it's not like this is breaking new ground. But I'm trying to figure out what works best for me and what works best for like the content I want to create. And ultimately, the initial idea was, I just want to get to know people in the brick building community. I kind of want to bring them forward, and kind of
Yeah.
highlight them. But as time goes on, I'd be open to bringing on people outside of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that'd be amazing.
it'd be great.
Absolutely.
It'd be great.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, like, there's such a variety, especially in maker and crafting, between like
Yeah,
painting and gunpla and embroidery, sewing, cosplay. I mean, just the list goes on.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, it'd be interesting to see you kind of like branch out if that's, what you do end up doing, like who you're gonna branch out towards.
yeah,
And that's another thing too. It's like I want to discover more people in those
yeah,
areas. And I gotta do that, you know, see who I would wanna follow myself. I gotta, like, get out there and search a little bit more.
yeah. I would I would start with a lot of those other groups that are somewhat adjacent to brick building. So that would
Mhm.
include Gunpla, that would include 3D printing, as well as other makers and crafters. So that's where I would see it going,
Yeah,
if we
yeah,
were
that's
to
like a
take it.
natural progression, I would feel.
Right,
Absolutely.
right. Man, everyone's asking for this. April B is saying,
More and more.
yeah,
The 2 cameras?
can episode 20 please be featuring myself? So, you
Or
guys,
maybe your wife can interview you off camera if she doesn't wanna be on camera.
oh man, that would be a fun one. That would be a fun one.
How
Uh,
would she feel about that? Has she ever been on cam before? I don't remember.
no,
She doesn't want to?
no, she doesn't want to.
Yeah.
She's like, she's all for me doing Twitch. She's so supportive of the whole thing, but then she's like, I don't know if I ever want to be on camera. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mr. Terrific's the same way. So anytime you see him, he's wearing this really creepy mask, most
yeah.
of the time. It's a Iron Man mask, but it has, like, the Punisher, like, logo painted on top of it. So he'll just, like, creep out behind this door sometimes, just kinda, like, poking in, and then he'll walk away, or he'll walk behind very slowly towards me, just like a murderer. He's very creepy. But that's how he makes his presence known on here.
Wow, that's so good.
Yeah. He's like, "Maybe I'll do a face for real if you get, like, 1,000 follows." I'm like, "Yeah, right. Okay, sure, buddy." He likes his anonymity, so I do my best to keep that, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
No names. That's
I
why he's Mr.
respect
Terrific,
it.
no first names.
I respect it. I mean, my partner, she's like, "I'm cool with you doing it, but I don't
She's like,
really
"Ah."
I don't really care to be on there." But who knows? Maybe one day I could convince her. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, off camera or something.
Yeah,
That way yeah. Even then, it's a little nerve-wracking. It's like, "Yeah, but they could still hear my voice." That's a big deal.
it is.
Yeah.
It's been a wonderful chat, Ash. I'm sure we could cover a lot more if we really wanted to. Um, but you
Probably.
know, like all good things, we should probably cap it off here. But what I would like to do is have you give just one last set of parting words to those that are listening or watching this on YouTube or other places on podcast platforms. What
Mhm.
are your final words?
Um, that I want the enchilada back from Taco Bell. I'm kidding. I don't know, like, what parting words would I say? I have no idea other than, I I just truly appreciate everybody who has supported me, whether, you've subbed or followed, given bits, or you're just a lurker. I really do appreciate everybody in this community, and I had no idea when I first started Twitch streaming that it would get to the point where it is now, and I didn't realize that I would form, like, friendships that I have, through streaming, and a lot of it does have to do with the brick building community. Again, like I said, a lot of you, kinda gravitated from brick building over to my channel even when I'm not brick building, and I really do appreciate you all. Like, you've all been really amazing and super supportive and really kind, and I could not ask for a better group of people. You guys are awesome, so thank you.